On today's edition of Closed Session, we're on the road. A little bit different on our usual setup as we are in the town of Grimshaw at their brand new town hall. And with me right now is His Worship Mayor Bob Riegel. First off, Mayor, thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you for coming out to our grand opening.
And talking about that, as your CAO was making in his opening remarks, Brian Allen, he was talking about how this has been 6 years in the coming. How happy are you to be at the finish line and in this building, Old Kennedy School?
Oh, fantastic. It's been a dream of ours since we started discussions with the school divisions in the province to build the new schools onto the facility. So this is great. This is a dream come true. It gives everybody access to the facility because it's now handicap friendly or mobility challenge friendly, and it gives a facility that is available to everybody. So.
Yeah, excellent. And also in talking about that as well, you talked about the accessibility, and needless to say, as you mentioned, everything is on one floor here. You don't have to go downstairs to go to council or upstairs to pay a bill. Everything's on one floor.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that we have tried to accommodate for years, but just wasn't practical in the building. We looked at putting a lift in, and they're just not conducive to the old style buildings. This is great. Everybody can come in through that front door at the main level, and it's accessible for sure.
And no doubt those lifts can cost a few dollars. So.
Oh yes, definitely. We can sure focus money in other places.
Amen. And then talking about that as well, also I guess as the mayor of, as the head of council, you got to be excited when your CAO got up there and said, project's likely going to be under budget.
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, that was one thing that we really pride ourselves on is we're going to maintain budgets, and the staff, all of them, took ownership of it and said, yeah, we're going to do it, but we're going to maintain the budget figure for sure.
Now, also one thing I'm kind of curious about, because we had the opening remarks in the gymnasium, a nice gymnasium, but also there's also recreation space at the Mile Zero regional plex across the street. Right. Is there any worry that maybe they could interfere with each other?
Absolutely not. This is very complementary to what the field house and the facilities are across the street. There's lots of times where there's things going on at the field house, and they just need a small group wants to have a taekwondo or whatever. It's there, it's accessible. There's a group of people that come over to play floor hockey every day. Or every second day because it's there and it's accessible. No problem whatsoever with worrying about one taking up space from the other.
Okay, good to know. Also in saying that as well, this is obviously a huge milestone for the town. A long time in the making, 6 years planning, a lot of partners involved in this, and especially as well, one of the things that was mentioned is the partnership with the Holy Catholic School Division as well as the Peace River School Division. Could you expand a little more on that?
That was, again, I think probably one of the greatest things that we have accomplished as a group and with our partners with Peace 10 and Holy Family. That is the first time that there's been two schools built onto a multiplex this way, right from an inception time for them. It worked out wonderfully, makes for utilization of the field house literally 18 hours a day versus the 6 hours a day that the majority of them get used when there's nothing there. The kids have accessibility to gyms that you'd never have in a school. It's just been a win-win situation for everybody all the way through.
Great, and obviously this building is good because, I mean, so many local groups as well, Lac Cardinal Arts Association, the Grimshaw Play School Group already leased here, and of course Brian Allen, CAO, was mentioning negotiations with other groups. Of course, obviously can't get into that because it's sensitive at this time, but in saying that too, really what I get the sign over here is there's one word we could think of, it's collaboration between the town and many different partners here.
Absolutely, and that's the key thing. That's the key thing to being community, is there has to be collaboration and partnerships with everybody. That's what makes, to me, that's what makes Grimshaw, is we have that collaboration and that community spirit that you don't always see every place. So.
That's true, especially in the larger centers, and I've lived in some of them, so I can attest to that. Yeah. Also, as well, we've obviously hit a big milestone here. What's the next big milestone that the town of Grimshaw is looking at? We're in a new decade. What are some of the big things that you're hopeful to accomplish before 2020 comes to an end?
Hopefully, we will get more work done on the park area, the 9 acres that this site sits on. We have plans for walking tracks and the community garden and stuff like that. So that's going to be our real big key things. Again, money and finances being what they are, it's going to have to be, I guess, tempered a little bit with what you can do with financing. But that's our biggest plan to again, take this to the next step, stage 2, to make this part of this whole corner that is our a community focal point.
Also as well, yeah, and I guess the exciting thing about it is that so many new different things are on the horizon, but something that's obviously a challenge. And it seems like no matter when I talk to municipal leaders from PEI all the way to Victoria, it seems like all of them can use more help from upper levels of government. I'm not always going to say that, but is it? Are you always hopeful that at one point that there will be more help from municipal governments, even though for municipal governments, I should say, as cuts happen?
Yeah, it would be wonderful to see more help from both the federal and provincial level. But that being said, we know that we have to live within our means, and so you do that. You do the best that you can to keep the dollars. Again, there's always that light at the end of the tunnel. With hopefully the energy sector starts doing better and they start generating some more dollars for the province, and that will benefit everybody at the end of the day.
All right, great. Mayor Riegel, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
This is Mayor Bob Riegel of Grimshaw, and this is another edition of Closed Session.